Hey everybody, it's Garrett here with Nordstick. I'm gonna walk you through the assembly of the NordBench. We've updated the design a little bit on the version that you received to make it more user-friendly. As you're gonna see just by how little parts there are, the assembly process is a lot shorter now. And now, just to show you guys that you can set this up in under 10 minutes, I believe it's gonna be more like 4 to 5 if you have everything laid out nicely. I'm gonna start a timer and time myself to keep this honest. So I'm gonna start that. Okay, here we go. When you're getting started, you have 8 small bolts that don't include a nut. You have 2 medium bolts that include a nut, and you have 1 large bolt that has a matching nut. So when you're getting started, this is the main frame. This is what makes the NordBench special. So I'm gonna move this out of the way. You're gonna pull this pin. This is how you go from long to short mode. You're gonna then line up that hole and push this through, just like so. You're then gonna take the foot plate and you're gonna lay this down on top, just like so. And you're gonna take the big bolt. Awesome. So now you're gonna secure the nut on the other side. And what I'm gonna do is grab a socket set, or you can use 2 adjustable wrenches, whatever you prefer. So the socket I'm using is in the metric. It's a 19. That's gonna grab this, and it's very important to make this very tight. The most common thing I see is people aren't making this tight enough. Okay, now you're gonna pull this pin back into the second hole. You're gonna spin this stainless steel thing to make sure it's screwed in, not this. You're gonna pull this. So this is a nice upgrade that this machine got. We'll talk about that later. You're gonna put it at an angle like this, and you're gonna assemble the second part. So with this, you're gonna set this up like so. I'll start by putting the bottom bolt through and the top bolt through. I'm gonna switch to a smaller socket. Now it doesn't matter what side the nut versus the bolt goes on this one. Now you're gonna incline the NordBench to 45 degrees. You're gonna start with the Nordstick logo should go on the outside. So you're gonna take this. I'm gonna hand tighten these, and I'm gonna go in a diagonal pattern to make sure that all the holes line up perfectly. So it's important to keep them loose and then do a final tighten of them all at the end. Okay, now we're gonna do the other side and then we'll tighten them all. Cool. And then you'll just lay that down flat. And then the last step, you're gonna take this, slide it in. You're gonna screw this in. Once you hear that click, you can screw it tight. And then the last step, you're just gonna push this pin through. Awesome. And with 20 seconds to spare, we are complete in under 10 minutes. So that's the NordBench assembly. It shouldn't take very long. You'll need 2 adjustable wrenches or an adjustable wrench and a socket set. I've also used needle nose pliers. It can now easily be done in 10 minutes, which is a huge upgrade. A lot of the feedback we got was it was cumbersome to set up, so we wanted to listen to that feedback and make it a lot more streamlined for you. Now, I just want to go through some of the features related to the NordBench so that you can have the best possible experience. So first things first, when it comes to the NordBench, the 2 most important pieces are this piece and this piece. So you're gonna want to really tighten this down and tighten this one down to make sure that there's no wobble when using the machine. So I'm just gonna do that now to show you what that looks like. You'll get a socket and a wrench, and you're just gonna tighten this down as tight as you possibly can go. So once it's tight, you're gonna see no sway side to side, and then you're gonna do the same thing with this one. I already kinda did this with the first step, but you're just making it super tight. Perfect. Next piece, we no longer have a handle on the back, and that's strictly because feedback we got said nobody was using it, and they said it was interfering with the wheels, so it didn't roll as smoothly as they would like. So now you can pick it up and roll it a lot easier going backwards. There's no wheels on the front. People were saying that was interfering with their split squats. Another thing we did was we adjusted, let me move this out of the way, the foot plate mechanism. So we added this T-pin in here, so when you pull to release, it doesn't grab your fingers at all, like in prior designs, and it's a lot more clean of an experience than the pull pin. So that's just another free upgrade everybody got. You'll also see that there's 2 holes. So the back hole is for vertical storage mode. So you'll lock it in place, and then you can easily store it vertically. That is not intended for exercise. It's not designed to hold the 500 pounds like the front hole is. This front hole is designed for Nordic curls, back extensions, QL raises, everything. You could park a truck on this and it's not gonna go anywhere. So that's what you're gonna wanna use when you're exercising. And then the third hole is in slant board mode. When it's flush against the ground, this is how you'll use it for a slant board. Another design upgrade feedback we got was related to this pin. We used to have a red knob, now you're gonna have a silver pin. So that way you can adjust from one to another and then just push it to lock it into place. When it's out like that, you're just gonna wanna make sure you push it to lock it into place. This, what people were saying was, when they were in the low degrees, the ball was rubbing on this pad, which is not what we wanted. So we made it a little bit smaller, a little bit nicer of an experience. When it comes to 8 and 15 degrees, that's gonna be done by placing this down on these metal teeth on each side. So the first one is 15 degrees. You're gonna then grab this handle and lower it down for 8 degrees. 15, and then when you want 25, which is what I use for sit-ups, hip thrusts, and everything, you're gonna just position it at 25 degrees, and then you can just go one by one all the way up with a quick ladder design to 45 degrees for exercise, adjusting the foot plate up, and then you're ready to go. Another piece of feedback that I got is people were setting it up in the shortened position. It's very, very, very important that when you're exercising, this stainless steel is exposed and this pin is in place right here. This is so the angles line up right and it makes the machine as steady as possible. It is not designed for use in a compressed position. So make sure you're setting the machine up properly in this elongated position when it's exercising. And then when you're not using it, you can make it compact and compress it down like so. And then lay it down just like that. If you wanted to store it in vertical storage mode in this shortened position, it's about the size of a suitcase, super compact, out of your way, but that's the NordBench. If you have any additional questions, just reach out and let me know. If you're dealing with a stability issue, you need to tighten these bolts back here better. When you're exercising, you want it to be completely vertical. Vertical storage, you're gonna put it in the back hole where it's on an angle, so it'll stand vertically, and then slant board mode, you're gonna slant it all the way down. When you're exercising, you're gonna pull this pin, shoot it out, and line up the holes on the bottom. Perfect. And then you're gonna lay that down like so. Now, the part H, this black piece, that should fall and sit perfectly on the outside of those stainless steel teeth. That's gonna prevent side-to-side wobble for this machine, and that's the ideal flat 0-degree placement for it. But those are all the tips and tricks I have. If you do have any additional questions, reach out to Garrett at Nordstick.com. I'd be happy to hop on a 30-minute call and walk you through exercise progression, how to use the machine, and troubleshoot any issues that you're facing. But I can't wait for you guys to try it out, and I'm really excited for all your success.